Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, we're going over the Monday Night Raw review. And I'm not gonna lie, this was a pretty interesting Raw. So it started off with Obafemi coming down, striding down the cage to the Hell in a Cell. Got in, and Adam Pearce was like, "We're gonna have a weigh-in. Step on the scale." And Obafemi stepped on the scale. He weighed 302. Then Brock Lesnar came out and locked the cage. He did not go in the cage at all. And of course, Obafemi got out, tried to open the door. Brock Lesnar circled around the cage with Paul Heyman on the microphone talking. Of course, Obafemi was following Brock inside the cage. And eventually they get to this side of the cage where we see Brock get his weight announced, which was 303 pounds, so 1 pound over Oba. I'm not gonna lie, that is the biggest cap I've ever heard in my entire life. Brock, we already know that WWE, first off, only did that just to make this more storyline driven, so Brock Lesnar is 1 pound heavier. 1 pound heavier than Oba, first off. And let's be honest, probably was a good idea that Brock Lesnar locked Oba inside the cage. But I won't lie, I think Triple H might have been freaking out inside his head. He probably was like, "So does anyone got extra key, yeah?" He was like, "Does anyone got extra key to get us out here?" But realistically, they could have just lifted the cage up. I'm just saying. But, yeah. And then, Brock Lesnar grabbed the microphone and said to Oba that you can't blah 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 blah. And then Oba came back, said some words. They flipped each other off. Wow, and Brock Lesnar left. Then Obafemi got in the ring, and then he just started to beat up some future WWE World Champions, and almost killed the guy, but he saved it, hitting him with the fall from grace. Throw that guy over the top rope, and hits his pose in the Hell in a Cell, which looks so cool. So I'm excited for Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Should be a good match. Then we see the Bloodline arrive, and that was it. Not gonna lie, that was pretty much it. We just see the Bloodline arrive, and yeah, that was pretty much it. And of course, they got new shirts, though. Can't forget about the Bloodline's new shirts. Anyway, we saw Alpha Academy take on The Vision, where we saw Otis go absolutely nuts on Braun Breaker. And even Tozawa hit a nice Hurricane Rana on Austin Theory, but Tozawa got kicked straight into the side of the face. But it wasn't too long until Otis got in there and just started beating Austin Theory. And then it didn't even work out for, Braun Breaker, because he even got taken out by Otis. And then Otis crushed them both in the corner. Otis takes his shirt, rips his shirt off, hits the worm. Tozawa does a dive to Austin Theory. Tries to go for the senton, but Logan Paul distracts the referee. Then big senton until Austin Theory gets the knees up, which, by the way, that's a crazy move. Taking his knees straight to the back after the height Tozawa gets on his thing. Then Otis goes straight into the LED ring post. Big spear for the 1, 2, 3, and the Vision went in and immediately start attacking him. Of course, as Otis gets back in the ring, trying to take him out, we see Otis go into the corner, get distracted by Maxine Dupree, and then get attacked by Austin Theory. And then we see Austin Theory and Braun Breaker hit him with a spear. And then Austin Theory took a chair and literally just smashed Otis's head into the LED ring post and said, "You took this more! You thought you would never be with her! You thought you would never be with her! Blah, 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 blah." All that type of shenanigans. And according to the legends, he killed Otis. So RIP for Otis in the chat, please. Anyway, it's time for Javon Evans versus Rusev, where we see Rusev absolutely crush Javon Evans in the corner until Javon hits a beautiful drop kick, Hurricane Rana, another drop kick, and then sends him straight into the DiGiorno. LED ring post, and then we see Rusev have Javon in his arms and throw him over the barricade. And then all of a sudden, we see Javon say, "We outside!" and lands on Rusev. We see Javon fight Rusev into the corner. Hits a nice corkscrew in Zaguri. Then we see Rusev gets sent to the outside. And then we see Javon say, "We outside!" Dives on Rusev. Then we see them back in the ring. Machka kick. Then we see Rusev try to put in the Accolade, and we already know the Accolade is a weak move now in WWE because babyfaces can't tap out. I blame you, John Cena. But Javon fought out, got hit a big running knee, went for the OG cutter, got caught into the Accolade. We thought it was going to be it, but of course, the babyface can never tap out because John Cena said so. We see Rusev try to go for a Machka kick. Javon reverses, hits a stunner. Big OG cutter for the 1, 2, 3, and Javon Evans with his gold-plated teeth wins the match. And yes, I know they're grills, but anyway, congratulations to Javon. And then we saw the greatest segment of all time. We saw the Danhausen and Joe Hendry concert where we see Danhausen play the piano, and we see Joe Hendry play the guitar singing around "You Are Cursed." It was pretty funny. I mean, they even got the mini houses dancing, and they got the Clipper Housens dancing. And then eventually we had all that stuff. Even Ryan Garcia decided to join the fray, start doing it, and then he gets in the ring, grabbed the guitar, and just smacks Joe Hendry across the back. And then we see the Judgment Day take out the Mini-Housens, take out Danhausen, hit a frog splash on Danhausen, and, Dominic Mysterio trying to get the upper hand on Danhausen for SummerSlam. So, yeah, also, I'll get to that later, actually. Anyway, we saw Rey Mysterio take on Ethan Page, but before we get to that, we saw Big Cass, a.k.a. Big Bill in AEW. But, again, August 3rd, Big Cass returns to the WWE, maybe with Enzo Amore. Who knows? I like where this character is going, though, because it's about redemption and getting revenge from what happened when he got released the first time around. Anyway, Ethan Page came out and immediately starts on attack of Rey Mysterio. Even hits a big boot on Rey Mysterio. And then, of course, Rey Mysterio sends Ethan Page into the LED ring post. Big Hurricane Rana. Big West Coast pop. Of course, he got hit with a big slam to the mat. Then we see Ethan Page get thrown straight into the commentary desk after Rey Mysterio does a hurricane, jumped off the top rope onto Ethan Page for a Hurricane Rana type move. Then, as we see Rey Mysterio go for the 619, Ethan Page used a 100 IQ play using the ring apron as a shield from Rey Mysterio, causing Rey Mysterio to get sent to the LED ring post. Big fisherman suplex, I think. I don't really know what he calls it, but I don't know. And Ethan Page picks up the W, so congratulations to Ethan Page. Also, this man, Ethan Page, has had like 100 different finishers since he came to WWE. First, it was the Ego's Edge. Then it was the Twisted Grin. Now, it's a fisherman suplex. But make up your mind. And what happened with the Ego's Edge? I thought that was a pretty cool move. Now, I get it, you can't do it to everyone, Ethan. But you could have certainly done it to Rey Mysterio. And you could have certainly hit the Twisted Grin. It was at least dangerous when you hit it. But, I don't know. Do what you do. I don't really care. Anyway, we saw a doctor checking out on the Mini-Housens. And then we see Adam Pearce say to Danhausen, "Give back them money." And Danhausen's like, no human monies. And Adam Pearce is like, "What are you talking about?" And Danhausen's like, "Put it on a pole. Human money is on a pole match." And Adam Pearce says, "What?" Yeah, and Danhausen's like, "Yeah, have you ever watched wrestling before?" So at SummerSlam, it's going to be Dominic Mysterio versus Danhausen, which, by the way, I was already cool with Danhausen versus Dominic. With human monies on a pole match, we are in we're in a special kind of era if we're seeing human monies on a pole match. Like, I was already fine with, Dominic versus Danhausen, but you didn't have to add a stipulation to it. You didn't have to add a stipulation to it. I love Danhausen. I think Danhausen got his own layer. It's a transport layer. He transports it to Raw and SmackDown, but still, I like Danhausen. He can do these things, but are we sure we want him to have a human monies on a pole match? Hey, I don't know. I'm going Danhausen on this one, though. Anyway, we see the Usos come down, eat. They talk some crap. Then we see the Solo Dolo Sikoa man. Solo Sikoa come out, and this might have been the greatest segment of Solo's ever had. Actually, that's a lie. The greatest segment Solo Sikoa has ever done was the "I got tickets." We've got tickets. Remember that one from 2024, during the OG Bloodline versus the Temu Bloodline, where he came to Raw to distract Jey Uso. It's like, we got tickets, one for him, one for me. Right? That was funny. Okay, shut up, bro. Okay, that was pretty funny though. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But this was also a pretty good segment from Solo. I've been saying this for almost 2 years at this point. Solo Sikoa, one of the most funniest guys on the roster. And then yeah, and this man Solo, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna do this stupid crap and put us all to sleep? And then we see LA Knight come out, and we just see the Usos and LA Knight and Solo Sikoa start beating each other up. Jack Fatu comes out, hits Solo with the Booty Smasher 3000, and then hits one on LA Knight until Royce Keys comes out, takes out Jimmy Uso. Him and Jake Fatu go hand in hand, ooh, until Jacob gets the upper hand, until Solo hits Jacob from behind. Then Samoan Spike, big spine buster, BFT, and Team LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys stands tall and taking out the Bloodline. Not gonna lie, bro, I don't want Solo to turn on them. I don't want Solo to turn on them. Can we just keep Solo out the Bloodline? I have a strange feeling that Solo's gonna turn on them. I have a strange feeling. I don't want it to happen, because I like what Solo's doing right now. I think they finally found something for Solo. They finally took him out of the stupid, they finally took him out of the stupid MFT thing and the MFT vortex, which might have killed the Tongans' careers, but it doesn't really matter. But I think we should just keep Solo doing his own thing. We shouldn't put him back into the Bloodline faction, because let's be honest, when he was with the Bloodline, he was what's the word? He was kind of the person that just took all the L's for the Bloodline. And honestly, I want to see Solo do something better, bro. I want to see him get another singles championship. People are already saying he's the better Uso brother, which, he ain't wrong. But, Anyway, let's start for Sol Ruca versus Raquel Rodriguez, where we see Raquel Rodriguez and Sol Ruca go into a little matchup. Boom. And then we see Sol move out the way from a big elbow drop. Then Sol Ruca did her classic, top rope moonsault onto Raquel Rodriguez, which, by the way, this move busted Raquel Rodriguez open. And, of course, Raw coverage continues, brought to you by DiGiorno. But WWE, I actually can talk about this. This might have been one of the most ad-filled Raws I've ever watched. First, you brought back picture-in-picture. I haven't seen a Raw in picture-in-picture since you were on the USA Network. Second off, we had to watch Raw in this little coverage thinks as the coverage continues. Brought to you by DiGiorno. Why? You could have put DiGiorno on like the LED ring post like you did earlier. Why do I have to see this little square box around it? I don't need to see it. I understand that you're sponsored by DiGiorno, Slim Jim, Drumstick, Riyadh, KFC, Popeye's Chicken. Okay, hold on. That was a little crazy. But still, it don't matter, bro. I don't care. DoorDash. I don't care that you're sponsored by them. Wait, is that a DiGiorno sponsor in the ring? So why am I seeing DiGiorno on my screen? I already see DiGiorno. You suck. Oh my god. Anyway, we see Sol Ruca get slammed into the middle of the ring, and then we see Sol Ruca hit a big missile dropkick to Raquel Rodriguez, and then we saw whatever this move was. I'm not exactly sure, but it was something. Then we see a nice knee to the face of Raquel Rodriguez, and then we see Raquel Rodriguez get her neck absolutely destroyed on the top rope. And then we saw the classic cartwheel DDT. And then, of course, Roxanne Perez had to get involved, but Sol Ruca made quick work of Roxanne Perez. But then, all of a sudden, we see Liv Morgan trip up Sol Ruca, big boot for the 1-2, ooh, until we see Io Sky come out, try to take out Liv Morgan to build up their SummerSlam match, which, by the way, why are we having the World Championship match being billed in the Women's Intercontinental Championship match? I'm sorry. I have a big problem about this. The World Champion of the Women's Division is getting her first title defense built on a mid-card championship. This, Liv Morgan and Io Sky should have their own segment separate from the Women's Intercontinental Championship. And I'm sorry, how WWE has booked Liv Morgan's World Championship reign this far has been absolutely atrocious. The creative team needs to get it together. I can't believe that this is the first title defense of Liv Morgan since she won it at WrestleMania. WWE, what were you doing? What were you doing? Were you waiting for Stephanie to get back and ready? Because you guys could have had Liv Morgan had more than, probably 4 title defenses on TV. You could have had her defend the title at Backlash. You could have had her defend the title at King and Queen of the Ring, or Night of Champions, whatever it's called. You could have had her defend the title at Clash in Italy. You could have had her defend the title at any PLE, any Raw, for even. But no, you guys said, we're just going to not book Liv Morgan. That is terrible, because Liv Morgan is a great talent. She's great in the ring. She's a great performer. And you not giving her anything for 3 months. For 3 months. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is so dumb. There is other people that you could have put Liv Morgan against, except. And you putting Liv Morgan in the Queen of the Ring tournament in the first place was the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. That was stupid. It's not Liv Morgan's fault that she's not defending the championship, because obviously it's clearly not her fault. She has no power when she can defend her championship. She can't make matches. She might ask, but it probably won't get put through. That's Creative's job. Creative's job is to make sure Liv Morgan and the champions defend their championships. But Creative said, nah, we aren't going to have him. I need an Unreal Season 4 of them talking about why they didn't use Liv Morgan as a work. sorry. I'm not sorry. This is completely WWE's fault for not booking Liv Morgan's championship reign right. This is completely their fault. WWE, I expect better from you. And the last 2 years, 2025 to 2026, I don't know what happened to you guys. Maybe TKO has shoved something up Triple H's booty crack. But you need to get it together. We need to go back to what WWE was in 2023, 2024. We need to go back to peak WWE. We need to go to the peakest of WWE. I want to go back to the WWE that was bragging about the consecutive sellout shows they had. Remember back in 2024, 2023, they used to brag that this is the 23rd consecutive sellout show of all time. We need to go back to that WWE. The WWE that was selling out every single week because the product was absolute top tier peakness. I want that WWE back. I want to go back in time. I want to go back to 2024, 2023 and watch the peak WWE. I want to see Cody finish his story again. I want to see John Cena announce his retirement tour. I want The Rock back and absolute beat Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins up to the road to WrestleMania again. I want WrestleMania 39 again. I want the original Judgment Day, not this weak-odd Judgment Day. I want the best version of the Judgment Day. I want Prime NXT back. But I can't get that because WWE, for some reason, in 2025, started to suck butt juice. I don't know if it's because of the TKO. I don't know if it's because of Netflix. I don't know what it is. But ever since the new year crossed into 2025, something went wrong, and it has not been able to be fixed. WWE 2027, better start being good. I swear. It is ridiculous. Absolute ridiculous. Anyway, we see Liv Morgan throw Io Sky into the barricade until we see Raquel Rodriguez grab the hair of Io Sky, where Raquel Rodriguez got hit with a big code breaker. Then we see Liv Morgan get hit with a super kick, knees straight to the chest into the LED ring post. Then all of a sudden, as Sol Ruca was going for the Soul Satcher, Roxanne Perez pulled Sol Ruca's arm down, hitting her face on the LED ring post. Big Tejana bomb for the 1, 2, 3, and finally, Raquel Rodriguez is the Women's Intercontinental Champion. It took way too long. Way too long for WWE to finally pull the trigger on Raquel Rodriguez. And I'm not going to lie, I'm still a little mad that WWE never put the Women's World Championship on Raquel Rodriguez that one time. I'm still mad at WWE for not, fulfilling the story after Liv Morgan eliminated Raquel Rodriguez at the Royal Rumble. Still mad about that. And, I don't know, but at least Raquel Rodriguez finally got some gold. By the way, here are the SummerSlam Saturday and Sunday match card. So we got the 6-man tag team match and the 6-woman tag team match. I'm guessing these two matches will kick off on the ESPN's first hour, which makes sense. Then we got the Women's World Championship, Nick Aldis versus Gunther. And then we got the WWE Undisputed Championship match, Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. And I'm not sure, but if I'm saying this right, is Opa Femi versus Brock Lesnar Hell in a Cell main eventing SummerSlam Night 1? Is that happening? Because if so, WWE might be doing the best thing here, right? This might be the best thing WWE has done all year. And I'm not going to lie, the best feud of 2026 6 on the main roster has been Oba versus Brock. No debate. No debate. And it looks like they're finally doing it. I hope. Now, again, I could see Cody versus CM Punk main eventing night 1 because, it's Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. But if I'm reading this right, and Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi are main eventing SummerSlam, WWE, I'm not forgiving you with the terrible booking you've done the past few months, but I'll forgive you. I'm making SummerSlam night 1 just 1 times better. Also, I think it's funny that they put this on night 1, because let's be honest, we already know that if this was on night 1 would be not doing well. Night 1 would not be selling well. I mean, SummerSlam in general is not selling well either, but anyway, for Sunday, we got, of course, Baron Corbin, Trick Williams, Sami Zayn, Finn Balor on the 1 hour on the regular ESPN channel. Honestly, I think these are the best matches that should be on the 1 hour. Honestly, I would replace the Human Monies on a pole match with the United States Championship match, but I'll forgive it. I think the number 1 contendership match should be on the first hour because, let's be honest, the Intercontinental Championship match shouldn't be there. The women's ladder match should not be on the first hour because, let's be honest, it's going to get clearly nerfed if it was on the first hour. And by the way, am I the only one scared that every other match except the main event is going to be short? Is it just me? Because I'm afraid that every match that's not the main event is going to be short, like you're at WrestleMania. I'm scared that WWE is going to pull a WrestleMania and make every other match less than 10 minutes long and the main event like 30 minutes long. Right? And again, I think the main event of any big PLE should be at least 20 to 25 to 30 minutes long. Right? I think it should be because there's a reason why it's the main event. You need to tell the full-on story. Right? But I'm scared. I am scared that WWE is going to do it again. I don't know. But anyway, we see the OTC. Roman Reigns coming out. Seth Rollins comes out. And of course, Roman Reigns is not happy. Seth Rollins is smiling as always. Seth Rollins calls Roman Reigns a fraud, loser, all that shenanigans. You see Roman Reigns say, you don't see how good, you just don't get it, blah, blah, blah. Then we see Seth Rollins say all that stuff. Again, keeps on calling Roman Reigns a loser, a fraud, and says that he's glad that Roman Reigns' family will be on ringside because he can't wait to show his kids that their daddy is a fraud, that their daddy is a loser, and that their daddy will always and forever be Seth Rollins' bitch. And of course, Roman Reigns was not so happy about that. And he started attacking Seth Rollins, beating him up, kicking him in the stomach, beating him up a Superman punch, spear. And then we see Seth Rollins in position like Roman Reigns was 12 years ago. And of course, the obsession with Roman Reigns getting his revenge on Seth Rollins. He goes for the steel chair, but of course the obsession of Roman Reigns cost Roman Reigns again, and leading to Seth Rollins hitting a stomp on the chair from Roman Reigns and leaving Roman Reigns out cold. Now, this obsession Roman Reigns has on getting his revenge on Seth Rollins makes total sense, right? Again, this isn't the first time Roman Reigns has got cost from his obsession with Seth Rollins and hitting Seth Rollins in the chair, right? It happened at WrestleMania 40. We saw Seth Rollins on the other side of the corner. We saw Cody Rhodes on the other side. We saw Roman Reigns with the steel chair. He looked at Cody. He looked at Seth. Roman Reigns hit Seth with the chair because of his obsession with Seth. And then, as Roman Reigns went for the spear, Cody was able to kick Roman in the face, hit the crossroads 3 times, and win the championship, ending Roman Reigns' 1,316-day reign. And ending the Tribal Chief WWE Championship era. And clearly, Roman Reigns hitting the chair on Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40 was not good enough for him. And maybe it's because Roman Reigns has never been able to beat Seth Rollins when it really, really mattered. Like, stuff like that. So, hey, it's fine, Roman. By the way, is Roman Reigns going... Is this obsession Roman Reigns has with Seth Rollins going to cost him at SummerSlam? Is Seth Rollins going to win? No way. No way, right? No. It's not going to happen. It might happen. I don't think it will. Maybe it will. Who knows? We'll see. But that was all I have, you guys, for today. Hope you guys enjoyed Monday Night Raw, because I know I had fun laughing at it during the show, because some of the segments were just absolutely stupid. But anyway, have a beautiful rest of the day. See you tomorrow. Bye.